The origins of a national tradition. Thanksgiving is one of the most beloved holidays in the United States, evoking images of families gathering around the dinner table to share roasted turkey, pumpkin pie, and memories. However, the holiday is built on much more than a feast. It is a story rooted in history, gratitude, and the survival of two very different cultures. The origins of this tradition date back more than 400 years to the early 1600s, a time when life in England was difficult for those who did not follow the king's religious mandates. Among those seeking freedom were the Pilgrims, a small group who, faced with persecution and poverty, decided to leave England for the New World, hoping for a future defined by religious liberty and opportunity. In 1620, 102 passengers boarded the Mayflower, a small wooden ship not designed for such a voyage. For 66 exhausting days, they endured cramped conditions, seasickness, and terrifying storms in a wilderness of waves. When they finally spotted land in November, they arrived not in a welcoming paradise, but in a harsh, frozen landscape. The first winter was brutal. With limited food and inadequate shelter, nearly half of the group perished from illness and exposure. Despite the heartbreak, the survivors clung to their faith and purpose. Their fortunes turned only when they met the Native Americans, who had inhabited the land for thousands of years. The Wampanoag people, led by Chief Massasoit, approached the Pilgrims with caution but a vision for peace, recognizing that cooperation could ensure safety for both groups. The Alliance and the First Feast. The survival of the Pilgrims was largely due to the assistance of Squanto, a Wampanoag man who spoke English and acted as a liaison. He taught the Pilgrims essential skills for the region: how to plant corn using fish as fertilizer, how to identify edible plants, and how to fish the local rivers. This transfer of knowledge transformed the Pilgrims' prospects, leading to a successful harvest in the autumn of 1621. To celebrate their survival and newfound stability, the Pilgrims organized a feast. This event, now known as the First Thanksgiving, was a 3-day celebration attended by nearly 90 Wampanoag men, who brought deer and wild birds to contribute to the meal. Unlike modern dinners, this feast featured simple foods cooked over open fires, such as corn, venison, fish, and berries. More importantly, it was a gathering defined by interaction rather than just eating. The two groups engaged in races, archery, and conversation, bridging their cultural divides through shared gratitude. While this moment of harmony did not guarantee everlasting peace between European settlers and indigenous peoples, it established a precedent of giving thanks that would echo through American history. Becoming a national holiday. For many years, Thanksgiving remained a scattered regional custom, celebrated on different days or not at all, depending on the state. It took the persistence of Sarah Josepha Hale, a prominent writer and editor, to push for a unified national holiday. For decades, she lobbied politicians, arguing that a shared day of thanks could unite the country. Her efforts finally succeeded in 1863, during the height of the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln, seeking to heal a fractured nation, issued a proclamation establishing a National Day of Thanksgiving on the last Thursday of November. Lincoln's proclamation transformed the holiday from a regional tradition to a national symbol of unity and reflection. Over the following century, the holiday evolved further. In the 1920s, public spectacles, like the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade began, and football games became a staple of the day. The menu standardized around the roasted turkey, cranberry sauce, and stuffing, though different regions and immigrant families added their own cultural flavors to the table. Thanksgiving today. Thanksgiving is a complex tapestry of history and modern culture. It is a time for family reunions, one of the busiest travel periods of the year, and a significant economic event marked by Black Friday sales. However, it is also a time for deeper reflection. Many Americans now acknowledge the dual nature of the holiday, honoring the resilience of the Pilgrims, while also recognizing the suffering indigenous communities faced in the centuries following European colonization. Some observe a national day of mourning to remember this history, ensuring the narrative remains honest and inclusive. Ultimately, despite the commercialism and the changing interpretations of history, the core of Thanksgiving remains unchanged. It is a day dedicated to pausing the fast pace of modern life, to appreciate blessings, extend charity to the less fortunate, and connect with loved ones. a legacy of gratitude that has survived for over 4 centuries. Would you like me to provide a specific breakdown of the foods served at the 1621 feast compared to a modern Thanksgiving dinner?